The truth is running in our blood. The answers are lying here within. Running in our blood. The answers are lying here within.
What's more entertaining than some good old-fashioned North American Counter-Strike, you ask? Well, it's some good old-fashioned North American Counter-Strike, casted by yours truly. This is T-Dam. I'm bringing to you Complexity, going up against Misfit for the first match of the North American division of the ECS Developmental League. Complexity winning the pistol round will be able to start off, sorry, not the pistol round, rather the knife round will be able to start off strong on their CT side. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, calling it a pistol already, and we're going to see a 4-man stack coming out on B. A very aggressive push coming out from Peter on that A side. And Peter not finding anyone and will be telling his team just that. But perhaps he should have waited a little while longer, because you see Misfits are going up. And they will be able to make their way onwards that side. Sean Garrett's throwing that smoke over. Devaduck will be able to make his way onto the side. Make sure that the smoke has actually completely blocked out anyone. Has gotten control of that bank area too, and now Def going in forward will be able to find the first opening pickoff, and it will be Shazam to follow through to equalize the scoreline. Now bomb is down, flashbangs are raining, and they are trying to make their way onto the side. Def tapping away, and there he's found it. It's Amanek to go down. Shazam though, he's looking to be on fire. It's his third of the round, and might be even more, as he's getting behind a man. He's getting behind pretty much all of them. Sick is living up to his name. Shazam did go down to Android, but for now, it does look like Sick will have secured his team the round. And as he does so, he will be going down with the bomb, perhaps. Android not quite able to secure that, but regardless, Sick will still be forced to rebuy up that armor. He isn't quite able to do too much. Hey, so since I wasn't here earlier on, I overslept. I'm going to quickly clarify something in the stream, guys. I'm actually try-hard casting this now, so I'm not going to be looking at the chat. I'm not going to be interacting with the chat. I'm very sorry for this, but this is... I'm actually try-harding. Now, Sean Garris, he's got that UMP. He's happy about that previous round. They were able to get a quick 3k via Shazam, and honestly completely sidestepped Peter's early scouting, which did mean that Complexity had a bit of a rough time. Now Complexity, they've gone for the standard force buy that the CT side seem to be going for pretty much every single time. They'll lose the pistol round, and Shazam, it's a sloppy one, but he gets it done. Yeah, he goes down, and well, Peter, he's there to follow up pretty soon. He's there to bring it back, and Shazam, he's taking a fall. So is Sean Garris. He's got without his gun in his hand, but Devaduck is still there to keep control of the situation. Whether or not Def will be able to get anything done with that scout is yet to be seen, but Peter has definitely reclaimed an UMP for his own self. And well, Sick is just waiting and he's hunting, and well, his hunt is successful. He's found one Def, having gone down. And it's left to Peter, and Peter can't really get anything done. Unfortunately, perhaps could have considered saving that UMP moving forward. I'm not quite sure whether or not I like that play. However, the score is still 2-0 in Misfits' favor, and they are going to be having a ball of a time. They've got 2 SMGs to try and farm up these players this time around, but all of these players, they're all just rushing down A long. They don't want anything to do with this, and now they're going to be forced to be in a retake situation. And I wouldn't even mind seeing them just set up for exit frags and not try and win this round whatsoever. If you can get an AK into the next round, great, that's amazing. You don't have to buy on one of your players, that's brilliant. You get a bit more utility. You get a little bit more something to work with. And now it's 2-0, Misfits. Closing things out with a 3, and Shazam will be the man to finish things off. He's had a couple of good rounds so far. He's starting off with a 3k, getting 2 more to finish off. Going strong leading into the first half, and hopefully he will be able to continue to put up those numbers. Now, Amanek, he's going to be going for the AK. Shazam not actually pulling out the AWP to try and battle up against Peter early on. And let's see how that does end up working out for them. They will have to adjust because they will have to adjust accordingly. Peter, of course, has been fully flashed out. He's been scouted out as well. And now he's been taken down. Sean Garrett and Sick taking control of that A long side. AWP picked up as well. Sean Garrett will be able to upgrade up his SMG very quickly. Very happy about that one. And now the quick execute on towards that A site should be imminent, but Davidoc has other plans as he finds one in the connector. Slemmy to go down, Android to follow, down to 8, and Amanik to finish him off. Yay. The last man there. And right now, no questions asked, he should be saving this M4A4 into the next round if he can. And at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if Misfits want to hunt him down. Guys will definitely have the opportunity to shut him down right now, and will be able to do so as well. Capitalizes off of that. Capitalizes off of that indeed. And now going into the next one, this is where, once again, complexity, they need to find a gun. They need to be able to take something forward into the next round. Ensure that they've got the full utility, even on their AWP player, where Peter will have the P250 only right now, so he should be able to buy up decently well into the next round. They do have the full loss bonus coming out, but that's still not something where he will have the incendiary. It's still not something where he will be feeling completely and utterly comfortable. They will be making their way over towards that A side though. Slowly creeping along. And Slemmy is... Well, Slemmy's there to greet them with open arms and open fire. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's looking towards the right way. And open fire doesn't really help very much when it's not in the right direction. Unfortunately, it also doesn't help when it's all over the place and not really getting anything done. The P250 falls down, but so does Sean Garrett. Yay, able to do a little bit more with his, and look at this, Def has actually managed to pick up the AWP. Now things are looking interesting. This is where Sick, he's been forced to plant on the back of the side. Planting for Bank, not quite ideal. Definitely not. And Def, what's he going to be able to do with the AWP? They're not going to give him anything to work with. Sick, if he peeks this out, he is dead meat. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that will be the case. Sick hit down in a 1 versus 3, almost getting it down. Def needs to get this peek through, but he can't quite manage it. Sick with a 3-man spray down. Finishes off that round. 5-0, and Misfits are starting strong, but you can see that they're not invincible right there. Def getting dangerously close to shutting down Sick, but he's able to clutch it out. Lapidated, hey, Lapidated. Sorry, I'm not going to be interacting with the chat because I am actually tryhard casting. My apologies for that to anyone who was hoping that I would. And secondly, I'm not that tired, I just woke up, it's probably why. I got 2 hours of sleep, which is perfectly fine. Now, on the B side they go. This time they're changing things up, they're going a little bit faster. Android doesn't really have time to react to this, he's been fully flashed up and toxic and now being flushed out, and Devaduck takes advantage of that. Sick, able to follow up with one of his own. It's a quick 3-man assault on towards that B side, and Def and Slemmy, they're left wondering what exactly can they be doing in this situation. And Slemmy, well, he's pretty much stumped right now, and you can see why. Sick to take a fall as well, and honestly, it's a hard one. It's a hard one for them to be able to figure out what exactly is going on and how exactly are they going to deal with it. Now, they make the call to back off with the 2 M4s, and it's all for good reason. They have got 2 incendiaries as well. No point trying to go for exit frags, and Sean Garrett, though, he's hunting. And I love this coming out from him. He is saying, you know what, I'm going to try and find them. I'm going to try and pick them off, make sure the economy doesn't really manage to have any footholds where it can come back from. But he's checking the wrong angle, and now Slemmy, well, he almost goes down to 2 HP, and that's going to be the bell saving them. The clock brings them back. And Sick and Shazam, they're just really going off like a firecracker right now. Sick with his 3-man spray down that saved the round. And Shazam just, starting strong, but not quite sure how much he's really contributed after the first 3 rounds. If I'm not wrong, he did have 6 kills at the end of those, but he will have the chance to really bring himself to life still. Complexity now backs against their walls, realizing that on the very favored side of this map, they have actually managed to be pushed back to a 6-0. They have gone for the full force by Peter on the scout, hoping he can find a couple of kills, hoping he can find some ridiculous headshots. Something we really love seeing with the scout and Sean Garris. He's going to be making quite a bit of noise over towards that suicide, and it really is going to be down towards his 3-man stack. Ye needs to find a couple of kills with these CZs, and he's going to be given the opportunity to do so pretty soon. So it seems. 45 seconds left on the clock, and Misfits are about to make their way onto this side. Android holding a very long range angle for the CZ. It's not really something you're used to seeing. But now onto the side they go, and Devaduck, well, he's got the trade, but it's Ye to find the opener. Peter is there to go forward and go down. And Misfits, well, that's going to be that as they take control of the side. The grenades and the incendiaries will allow them to go forward and plant the bomb if they so choose to do so. And that choice is not going to be made for now. Shazam just content with keeping that AWP alive in the next round, not wanting to risk going for the bomb plant in that situation. Playing it safe, making Complexity feel completely outmatched at this point. Misfits are looking good. You guys are gonna sleep for me? Well, that sounds good, man. I love it when my viewers sleep for me. I love it when my viewers do something for me. Makes me feel special. And it's a pretty special moment right now because Misfits, it's a team that has somewhat been having ridiculous doubts around it. And at this point, they are looking so effective on overpass. This is clinical, really. Complexity doesn't have a chance, and Misfits, they've got economy for days. Alright, it's a tactical pause that has come through. The players have confirmed it, but and now the question is, how exactly is Complexity going to react to this, if they are going to react to this? Are they going to try and put down more aggressive pressure down towards that A-long side, or are they going to just try and keep going the way they've been going, try and stack onto these sites and hope that they can hit their shots, which really isn't the best of ways to do things. Slemmy needs to make that call, and he needs to make it quickly, but Devaduck, rather, he's slowly spreading across, and they're gaining map control. There is nothing to deny that. Even though 2 players that have been left behind, Sean and Devaduck, even those 2 players, they are just making sure that none of the CTs can try and circle around, none of those CTs can try and get out through that connector area without being punished. Which is he said, you know what, let's back off. Take the bomb towards that B site, see what we can get done. They have changed up their position somewhat. Android no longer sitting down towards Toxic, and Def, this is what I like coming out from him. That A side aggression, taking advantage of that, taking down Sean Garris, and now it's all on Peter. He's able to find 1 or 2 kills over here, preferably 2. 1 if he manages to survive, obviously. If he manages to find a kill over here, that would be massive, but he needs to turn around, he needs to be careful because they are coming from behind him. And he will be overwhelmed very soon. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. This is where you should be backing off. Peter, my friend, this isn't Netherlands. Or Neverlands for that matter. Well, he turns around, does a 180, quick one, gets a kill, gets himself back off. And Peter should be perfectly fine with it. Going for the secondary one as well. Realizes there has to be someone coming from connector side. Now he turns around, Amanek getting onto the side. There's 10 seconds left. They need to make these entries happen, but the bomb has been dropped and Slemmy is there to back him up. And 4 seconds left on the clock, and Misfits finally forfeit a round. Sick if he goes down right now. Well, that would be a little bit bad for them. Their economy being dented just a bit. Going down after the time, not quite the best of situations. And, well, Complexity, they're going to be happy with that one. But they need to follow it up with another. Peter needs to show up like he did over there. Perhaps even find more this time, because he might be getting aggressive. He will be going up against the AWP of Shazam, and let's see whether or not they're going to be going for a full-on AWP versus AWP battle. And it does look like with a full flashbang coming out on Shazam, he refrains from doing so naturally. Sean might be looking to speed things up though. They've already gone slow once. Whether or not they will continue to do so is a completely separate story. If they can make their way onto a site very quickly, well, that's where Complexity no longer has much of a choice in what they are doing and how they are going to be doing it. It just comes down to the aim battles, comes down to raw skill, and that's where Complexity can potentially displace Misfits as players. And Def, well, he's going to peek out now. He knows the smoke is about to dissipate, and he knows that this is where the flashbangs generally start raining through. But it's a little bit slower and nice incendiary. That's going to be blocking them up for a little while. But Sean Garrett has pushed right through it. The flashbang will catch him out, but there's no follow-up over there until Def finally re-peeks. Peter has found another one for himself. And Sick, coming in from the back lines, finally closes off that AWP player's life. Sick is looking ridiculous. He's found 3 already. David Duck, unfortunately, missing that incendiary, leaves him 1 versus 2, and it will be left with Ye finishing him off. Complexity, unfortunately, are not getting these economy building rounds, but they are getting rounds at this point. That's all they can really ask and all they can really hope for. Misfits do have the economy to be able to buy up for another few rounds, or at least another 1 round. I'm not sure if they will be able to buy up the next one. If they get the bomb plant down, then they can definitely do so, but without that, it's going to be a bit more tricky. And Sean, guys, he's got someone on top of him. Not quite the most common thing in the world. Playing around to overpass his strengths, getting a few wacky boosts out, but for now it is still going to be a very passive approach coming out from Misfits. Last time it was Sick to make his way onto the site, finding 3 kills in doing so. Playing ridiculously well, and if he's able to do anything even close to that and they still can't win the round, well, Misfits are going to have something to talk about. Peter, though, really stepping up in the previous round. Let's see if he's able to continue to put up these numbers. If he is, then, well, Complexity have got a bright future in front of them, let's just put it that way. And Peter, he saw Sean Garrett crossing out, throws out their grenade to make sure no one is actually rushing him. And he's holding a hairline angle, will foul, almost finding the kill on the Shazam, but unfortunately Shazam a bit too quick for him, and Slemmy, he's running through, he's running blind, and he's running through a dead sea of bodies. And one of them will be his as he goes down as well. Ye is there to clean things up with a quick grenade and get taken down by David Duvek afterwards. Def finds the Frenchman, reminds him of who came out on top of that back in the Napoleon Wars. Gets his revenge for those ones. 7-3, and now Complexity's money is not there anymore. They're gonna have to go for 2 UMPs, and they already were getting a bit aggressive with one of them. Slemmy taking that down to Monster Tunnel, finding 1 kill, almost finding the second one. If he had, then maybe it would have been a little bit different for the team. But for now, Def is just getting aggressive. Shazam will be given a great opportunity right now to find a quick kill. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize, and he suffers because of it. 3 players tagged down so significantly, around 40 damage dealt on average to all 3 of them. And John Gaz, well, the flashbang catches him out completely. Completely catching him out. They're going a little bit quicker onto the side, but it doesn't seem to matter because Def has actually scouted them all out. Now, the man to make contact should be Peter. He's going to see the man jumping over the flowery ledge that it is, and he's going to go for the secondary peak, but Shazam is there to back up Devo. And Amanek, as always, on a bit of a lurk roll, finds a quick headshot and leaves that site for his teammates to take, but Ye has something to say about it. For about 2 kills before he gets taken down, of course. It's not a long thing to say about it, it's just something. You know, it's like when you're whispering in Chinese whisper, and you've got something to say, but you know, you never really know what's gonna happen, who's gonna hear it, what they're gonna hear. And that's what happens with Ye. It goes well for the first 2 people, but then people start changing it up. People start messing it up, you know. People do that. Chinese whisper, man, it's a deadly game, and it's a deadly... Ooh, speaking of deadly games, peeking down into Shazam. Definitely one of the more deadly games as well. Pardon me, I'm feeling a little bit sick. As a result of that, I do have a tendency to clear my throat a bit more than needed, perhaps. Gaz. Sean Garez is making his way up A long area. And well, Shazam has found 1 kill to open things up. And Shazam is really stepping it up right now. He's got 2 so far, and look at him on the scoreboard. He's even leading ahead of Sick, and Sick has gotten a few great multi-kills. However, Shazam has forfeited that AWP over towards GA, and now let's see whether or not that will be working out against them, or will they be able to take advantage of this. Now, Slemmy, picking up that UMP, does have armor as well. If he just pushes forward and finds 1 more, this is going to be very possible for them, but instead, it will be left down to Android, who has been blocked off by an incendiary, forced to go around the long way. And Ye, well, he almost gets the flick, but unfortunately isn't quite able to do so. Devo finishes off Android in the same breath and in the same spray. Oh, Shawnee boy. You're taking this map by storm right now. 9-3, and the 10 definitely is impending. The B side has been forfeited to them. Full control given over by Complexity, and well, they gamble, they cast their die, but unfortunately it comes short. It comes short. Smokes will not help you very much over here, Sean, guys. If they come flying through with the P250s, he realizes that that's why he's ready with a rain of bullets, fire, and hell for anyone who pushes through that squeaky door. I'm just watching their behinds, making sure that Complexity can't really get anything out sneakily. Can't go for any exit franks. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. Takes down Peter, goes for the secondary peek, but it will be taken away, stolen by Shongaz. And 10-3. Complexity is not looking bad, but they're looking as if they're missing out very, very closely. Even when they're winning, it's just by a hairline's margin. They're not looking convincing. And a part of that is just coming down to their shots, and now part of that is coming down to Shazam and Co just showing up, but they're not showing up right now, and there's no more Shazam and Co, they're just Shazam going up against 3. AWP at the ready. Now Slemmy needs to peek out. Or rather, actually, Slemmy just needs to just keep himself safe, and Shazam needs to peek out. 2 players will be blocked off by that incendiary. Great job by him, but they're going to be boosting up, almost losing their lives doing so. Peter being warbanked through. The attempt is there, but unfortunately, the success is not. Shazam can't quite clutch that one out, and Complexity get their 4th on the board. Keep their hopes alive for that 10-5 closer that Misfits would be more than happy with. They're on the terrorist side. You're fine with a 9-6 closer, really. And that's something that FNS talked about on the CT side of Cobblestone. It's just so difficult to lose. Or so it seems like. Complexity, although they've shown us that difficult can be made easy sometimes. And who isn't stepping up on the side of Complexity? Peter has had his round as well. Slemmy, he's got 8 frags to them. I'm not quite sure how impactful they've been. And let's be honest, yay, he's been the man showing up pretty much constantly. So Complexity perhaps put a little bit more emphasis on how exactly they're positioning, perhaps put a little bit more emphasis on punishing Misfits early on, as they are trying to go slowly onto these sites, but for now they don't really have very much utility to work with, and Sick is going to be moving forward. Def will take him down though, and Peter to re-peek to take away the life of Sean Garris. Goes back onto the side, will have the opportunity to find even more over here, but Shazam wants to shut out that opportunity, will not be able to do so because Peter is ready with the fire, with the trigger, with pretty much everything he could possibly need. And Amanek, well, he's not ready at all. Android comes out from behind in 10 to 5. Complexity closes things out with a bit more of a respectable fashion. Hey, Facer, thank you. And Misfits, I mean, you have to give it to them. They managed to take the first 7 rounds, and after that, Complexity pulled it together. They went for that pause. They were able to scramble up a few rounds, and this is where I asked the question. Where was that pause earlier on? Why are you saving that pause? You've gone down to a 3-0, a 5-0, whatever. A 7-0, isn't that a bit late for a pause? Don't you think? Well, it's not too late for Complexity right now, though. The second half has started. And it will be starting off with a bang, as Ye will get onto the side, take down Sick, and it's all up to Devo to try and get a few kills to trade this out, but it's a quick dink up to Heaven to bring him down to 17, and that's where he's not very comfortable for a very good reason. A stray bullet catches him in the chest and catches him falling down to his death. Shazam is pushing forward the P2000 at the ready. Not one gun that a lot of players like to go for these days, and maybe we can see why as he misses a couple of shots left, right and center and will almost end up, actually never mind. I said almost end up getting one, but indeed he will before being traded out. He's gotten one, but the tale is not done as Amanek and Sean Garris are trying their hardest to find a bit more. If nothing else, they can get a little bit more pocket money for themselves. Amanek goes down though, and that will be the last of it for Misfits. Sean Garris saves that armor up. Good call by him. Knew that he can't really go forward, can't really get anything done. And Complexity off the back of the pistol round, this is going to be so interesting to see what exactly they're looking to do, because now you're looking at a somewhat force bought up team, but they still have 3 players without armor, so these SMGs can be very, very effective, and the UMPs, they're infamously good even without the addition of a lack of armor being added to them. But they're being patient. They are expecting aggression to come through from Misfits. They're expecting the side of Misfits to get impatient, and perhaps wrongfully so, but it's a 4-man stack onto the A site. They're backing themselves off, and they're saying, you know what, let's touch B. And I like this thinking coming out for them, because Misfits, typically what they like to do is, if they're going to be stacking up on B, then they generally end up sending that one player aggressively onto A. Just try and get some information, try and find out where they are, and the second that he makes first contact, that's when he backs himself off immediately. That's what Misfits likes to do, that's what teams these days like to do on overpass on the CT side. And Complexity, they realize that no one's actually coming in, and they say, you know what, B's empty, go there right now. It's either empty or there's only 2 players on it. They're going for a default 3-2 setup. And Sick is waiting for the push to come through from Amanek, but Amanek won't be revealing his body just quite yet. The smoke is preserving his integrity. The smoke is preserving, well, not very much anymore, is it? As Sick goes down. Is this a save coming out from the CTs though? I always do say that a force buy should be saved into the next round if you can, but Perhaps Misfits are playing a little bit too passively with their force bias. They're not really taking anything away from complexity as far as guns, as far as anything goes. And I suppose that's fine, because you will have the opportunity to do so again in the next round, and that does definitely come into play, come into effect. But now Misfits, they're stuck in a very unfortunate position where they've just given away a round for free, and complexity, they're building up that money. 5 players being kept alive. The 2 SMGs are still there, so these 2 SMGs are still going to be used to mow them down. Shazam peeks forward, almost finds a shot, but almost doesn't quite cut it. Almost doesn't quite cut it. And now the target seems to be B. They're painting out the bullseye, and let's see if they're able to get the shots into it. Ye is postured correctly to be able to do so, but he needs the CTs to peek out towards him. That AK just sensing someone coming from water, but it is going to be at graffiti where Sean Garris. He hears the flashes, he hears the smokes flying through. He's going to be going forward with a peek, but Ye wins that duel any day of the week. Peter adding 1 to his tally, and Ye adds 1 to the grave. Misfits, this is what I was talking about. Okay. I hope that... Alright, it's not an internet problem because the stream is still going, so... Hopefully we're going to be able to solve things out quickly and nothing really substantial is going wrong. Well, I'm going to quickly switch out scenes, see what I can get done, and see if I can actually reconnect to this site. Right. Face it, if you're still tuned in, if you can give me like a bit of an update, is that like a server problem? What's up with that? Because apparently we're having some problems reconnecting as well. If not, then it's perfectly fine. I mean, as long as I can reconnect, it's okay. But we are seeing some problems. It might be a server issue. I hope it isn't, but I would love to get in a bit of an update. Just a little bit of an update, yeah. Face it, fire him. Oh god, how the masses turn, how the masses turn. It's a little bit like how complexity has turned this into their own favor, suddenly finding 3 rounds for themselves and making it look pretty goddamn good. Okay, we're back, we are back, and we're gonna quickly switch over scenes. As speaking of complexity finding this strider, they seem to have jinxed them as Misfits manages to bring it back on the gun round. Gun round secured, and complexity, well, they see the door, but they don't want to go through it just quite yet. They don't want to leave this house just quite yet empty-handed. They're here to fight, they're here to put up a show, and Peter's now got the AWP. Shazam does not. Go from complexity, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be brilliant, and complexity is gonna be peeking forward. Peter's got the chance to take the Frenchman down, but he doesn't quite take advantage of that chance yet. Still though, Android wants to push through. They've got 2 men peeking out towards him, but he can't quite get the double spray. Peter's there to back him up and find the kill though. 3 versus 3, and let's be honest, that always favors the tease. That's where you can get onto a site very, very quickly, and Misfits is going to be so confused constantly. There's a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Everything is in their favor. Unfortunately, it doesn't really seem to matter because Devo's found one very quick one. Sick is there to follow up another kill going the way of Misfits, and they are regaining control of this map. And, well, as I say that, Peter manages to find the quick P250 headshot. Keep things in the realm of possibility for himself, and Sean Garris doesn't quite know where he is, but finds the kill as soon as Peter peeks out. Throwing out a little bit. Oh, Sean Garris with the 1v1 spray. You have to be feeling it. You have to be feeling it, unfortunately. He's gonna be feeling it in his head as Sean Garris pumps some lead into it. 12 to 8 and complexity. They're looking good right now. But is it good enough? Peter really stepping up in that previous round, bringing it so close to a 9-10 score. 9-10? That's not quite right, is it? It's not quite right. We're 10-11? Yeah, 10-11. I don't really... I feel like I'm suddenly very bad at maths, but, you know, please forgive me. Forgive me, as it will be complexity opening up on the site at 4 AM in the morning. Sean Garra's M4. Oh no, Sean! This is like Cloud9 all over again, where you're in the good position, you've made it to the major, you're having this great run, but you whiff everything and you lose your chance. Perfect positioning coming out. Remember, he misses all his bullets. And that's what allows complexity to be able to... Oh, that's heartbreaking, Sean. Well, that's not the first heart he's ever broken. Have you seen the guy? Have you seen the man? Shazam manages to keep his AWP alive for now, but there is still a man creeping towards him. Well, there's actually two creeping towards him, and they will be able to shut him down. AWP hits the deck, and Slemmy... Well, Slemmy... he secures that round for complexity, and he secures the reset for complexity, which is much more important. And this is where Peter's ridiculous performance comes into play. This is where Peter finding all those skills, and even though they did actually end up losing out, remember, they got the bomb plant down. Peter was able to do so. Misfits has been reset. Their economy is at a point where complexity has a perfect situation to be able to try and catch them out, to try and equalize that score. It's a 3:45, and I've never been happier. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the ECS North American Developmental League, and it is looking good as Devo pushes forward to take down Dev. This is like 1803 all over again. The French walking all over the Englishmen. I love making that joke. I feel like Complexity is the only team in the world that lets me make that joke, because they're the only team in the world with a somewhat relevant UK player. One day, I have a dream, one day, UKCS will not just be ECS organizing tournaments and having a singular UK player attend. One day we will have two, but right now is not that day, because Devo is there to find two of his own. It's three with the Mac 10 taking down Slemmy. They are going to be able to turn around. Oh, never mind, Sean Garris actually doesn't get sprayed down over there. Android missing a rare spray, getting a little bit unfortunate, and Sean finding that entry from behind is able to take them to 13 despite their economy being reset, despite being very low. You see Devo just finding 2 kills with that CZ, pushing forward onto Slemmy with a Mac 10 and finishing him off so aggressively, playing around that default bomb plant situation. Perfectly done by him. I need to brush my teeth. I have to give it to Misfits though, just finding that perfect pincer maneuver in that previous round. 3 players walking through bathrooms completely undetected, and yes, Complexity, they should have checked that out before they had the time. It wasn't like they were very, very stretched for it. But props to Misfits though, being able to take that eco out. Not very easy to do that, but more importantly, it's a reverse reset. This is where things get interesting. This is where every single kill matters so much, and well, every single kill coming out from Shazam seems to matter anyway. They're all impactful and they all allow his team to stay in the round, but right now he's the man to be taking down Slemmy, trying to go forward, trying to find another, but Amanek is there and he will shut them all down. 3 kills to secure the round. And now they call the timeout. And will this be the same magical timeout that we saw in the first half, where they were suddenly able to turn things around completely and utterly? Face It doesn't get money from Twitch. That's why they're here. Also because they love me. Let's be honest. They just love me. They love me. It's fine. It's fine. All good. All good. Complexity. They're out on a limb and that limb is about to break. Can they jump? Find another one? Keep climbing this tall tree that they have to find victory. See what I did there? See the pun? Victory. Tall tree. Haha. Or will they stumble and fall right now? Well, we're going to be given the answer to that very shortly. With a grenade. Not really catching on Sean in that situation, unfortunately, but 14-9 in complexity. That's an interesting situation, actually, where Ye is able to find that kill that early on onto Sick. I feel like if you're going to be going aggressively on top of that box, and we can talk about that in a second, but Android, he's actually making his way onto the side, and he will be given a quick one to start things off with. But Sean, unfortunately, catches him with his back turn, and he's able to shut him down immediately. Ye is trying to follow up, but it will be the grenade to shut down Sean. Shazam left to save this round for Misfits. And remember, Misfits have just lost out a couple of these rounds. They have been reset a few times. Their economy is not stable in the slightest. So Misfits, they need to save these guns, and they realize that they can't go for these hero plays and say, oh, it's okay, we can buy in the next round. No, that isn't true in the slightest. They are trading rounds with the terrorists, and that is not something that will ever end up in their favor. Right now it kind of does, because obviously they have a ridiculous lead, but economically speaking it doesn't. And that ridiculous lead is going to be shortened very quickly at this rate. Peter, he might be feeling a little bit happy that he missed that jump. No AWP for Peter. That's a bit of a heartbreaker. He's been very effective on it, but let's see if he's able to put up the same numbers with the AK. He is, of course, one of the more recent additions to the lineup, and I mean, it really does seem like he has improved it quite a bit. They're looking fairly stable and fairly organized. They just need to perhaps get their CT side a little bit more in order, and their terrorist side, it's looking strong, honestly. It's looking quite good. And that's something to be said about a team that's able to really perform on the terrorist side of Overpass. That's not a very easy ask. 45 seconds left on the clock, and this is where first contact will be made by Armanek over towards that A side. Well, the flashbang was perfect. It really was, but unfortunately, he's just not able to spray them down. 3 against 1. That's a bit of a discrepancy in firepower, let's just put it that way. But the bomb is actually going all the way back. Slemmy might be wanting to rotate it over towards that B side. There's still 30 seconds left on the clock, and it will be Peter going forward, trying to find that entry onto A, and they're using so much utility on the CT side. No longer any smokes left, no longer any incendiaries left, and that means that they can take control of the B side. It's a 2 versus 2, and Def is pushing aggressively. He should be able to find Sean over here, but Sean just sidesteps through, and it leaves Android in a 1 versus 2. Finds one, beautifully done, and Sean is going to be pushing forward, trying desperately to take down this machine, but this machine cannot be destroyed. Cannot be destroyed at all. Complexity off the back of On the back of a good call from Slemmy, they're able to use up all the utility coming out from Misfits on that A side, and that's where Misfits can no longer retake. Misfits can no longer force players out of their position. Android can comfortably play around that bomb as if it was his own baby. It's a bit of a weird baby though. I mean, it explodes after 45 seconds. I feel like that's not a good baby to have. You know, unless you kill everyone around you, then it doesn't explode. That's extreme mothering. You know, Android is an extreme mother. He will do anything to make sure his baby doesn't explode. Except not plant it. Except not plant it. Well, the talk of babies is finished, and the talk of last hopes has started right now, because Misfits, they are definitely on one of their last hopes. If they can find another miraculous eco round, well, that's going to be making things a lot easier for them, to say the least. Shazam finding... Oh, sweetie, that was lovely. That really was lovely. Finding one quick one onto Ye, bringing him down. Sean Garrett is able to tag down another very low. That's Peter at 7 HP. He doesn't quite expect Sean to be circling around though, and Sean is able to find one for himself. A second will be added to the tally. And now Peter and Slemmy, they're in a 2 versus 3. Not really in their favor right now. Slemmy has managed to find his way to heaven, and that doesn't really... I promise that isn't as scary as it sounds. Well, it is pretty scary to be in Shazam's shoes though. He's 1 versus 2. Peter is holding the angle behind him, but it doesn't seem to matter because Shazam's already found him, taken him down. He doesn't have the armor to be able to fight this up. He does have the sandbags to have him protected, but goes for the peek out. And Slemmy, well, he finds the kill. Complexity finds the kill, but they're not having an easy time by any means. The AWP isn't saved up by Peter. They only have 1 player left alive, and their utility is not there either right now. I have to say, similar for Misfits, Shazam has the AWP, but they don't have incendiaries. Only Sean has 1. And those incendiaries can be such a big game changer. The question is, where exactly is Sean going to be deploying the single incendiary that he has? And yeah, fast onto the side. They know they don't have utility. They know they need to be able to make this work out for them. But it isn't really doing anything because Android, well, he's found 1, but he gets traded out immediately. Sean Garrett's playing around in water perfectly. And he doesn't mind getting wet at all. Peter, now it's all on him. Needs to step up so much. Shazam has got that AWP as well, so it's not easy to reclaim that bomb. He needs to actually find his way through the smoke, find Amanek through it. And Amanek, well, he finds him instead. And Complexity, like I said, they're not really keeping players alive. And after that, they don't have utility. They can't take control of the site. They can't stop Shazam from going ham. And now they can't really put up the guns that they need, and they will be forced onto their last breath. Sean Garrett is getting ready. Getting ready for the eventual onslaught that will be coming their way. For sure, for sure. Well, flashbangs don't really help when they end up flashing your teammate as well as your opponent. They're playing it slow this time, Complexity. They know that at this point what they're praying for is a big mistake to come through from Misfits. But Misfits right now, they're not really making a mistake. They're posturing themselves perfectly. They know exactly what they need to do. And with the smokes now raining out on towards that A site, they will go for the rotations soon enough. And Overpass is just one of those maps where the rotations are so quick. As long as you're properly positioned, and speaking of properly positioned, Shazam pushes through the smoke, finds himself a Slemmy, takes him down, and brings him out of the map now. Peter, making his way on towards that side, needs to find a quick kill with a P250. Will not be able to do so until very, very late forward, and that makes it a bit tricky because Devo and Sick are going to be trying to make their way onto this side. Peter does have that M4 picked up from the fallen body of the CTs, and he needs to try and... oh, he needed to try and make that a little bit more convincing. Yeah, he is in possession of the AWP. Will maybe be able to get a quick kill over here if he peaks and see Sick. And unfortunately, Sick closes that out. Misfits take the first game, 16-12, after a brilliant, absolutely brilliant T-side performance where they're able to start things off 7-0. However, they did end up giving up quite a bit in complexity. They didn't really lose hope until the very end. And we're going to be back pretty soon with the second game. I'm going to go get myself some water. I'm going to go brush my teeth, just make sure that my breath is minty fresh for the next game.
start with begins.
Apparently we're having a few problems and hopefully they will be sorted out soon. I'm trying to join the GoTV and it's saying that I've failed to join the game. Now, not quite sure what's up with that. I'm not actually trying to join the game to start with, but you know, there's something funky going on, and it's not in a good way, not in a, let's, you know, 90s, let's jazz it out to the music way. It's more of a, oh dear, no, it's like when your father is saying something funky, you know, your 70-year-old father, he says funky in that really voice that he thinks he's saying groovy because, you know, that was his thing to say back in the day. It's like that funky, not the good kind of funky. Well, that's interesting. Hopefully this will be resolved and I don't miss out too much of the action. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, the Steam seems to be down for me as well, and well, let's try to rejoin because I really don't want to miss out on anything. That would be a little bit unfortunate if that ends up happening. Very unfortunate, rather. Or just a little. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, this would be a 7 at least. Not quite at an 8 yet. An 8 is basically, an 8 is horrible actually. An 8 is very, very bad. I've never actually had Steam be going down for me. Flippy, because that might be because, well, this is sponsored by YouTube. That's probably why. Probably why. Faceit should not be streaming this, no. The ECS Developmental League is not streamed by Faceit. The ECS Developmental League is a part of the Community Caster Challenge that Faceit has. If you don't know what the Community Caster Challenge is, basically, Faceit says anyone can cast them as long as they use the overlays that we give to them. And if you do, then we're going to select 2 casters from all of the, basically from all of the people who are casting this on YouTube. We're going to select 2 casters and we're going to bring them to London to cast the main league on the official ECS League channel. That's why they're doing this right now. So it basically gives them free labor on behalf of casters, so they don't really have to pay anyone, and everyone's kind of clamoring to find a way to cast these games. And it's also just good for them, because they're able to, you know, find new talent for themselves, find new talent for their studios. Last time, if I remember correctly, it was Ronin and Seaside who managed to get in, and those 2 are phenomenal casters. Honestly, those 2 are such good casters. I feel very happy that they were able to actually make it forward, because I just don't think they receive enough recognition. They have their place. They have their place in the tier 2 CS scene. I don't quite think they're tier 1 yet, but they're very stable, very good casters in that sense. This time, you know, we're fighting it out with the best of the best, and by the best of the best, I mean the best of tier 3, because obviously, you know, that's pretty much all we have. It's fine though. I mean, honestly, it's going well. It's going well. The first day, and I'm very excited. I'm gonna be casting every single one of these games until the 10th of September, which is about 8 hours of casting 4 days a week. I still can't join the game, by the way, so I don't know what's going on with this. Can anyone join the game? Can someone check if any of the, you know, Twitch streams or can anyone join the game at all? Because I can't. And if this keeps going on, then I will not be able to cast this, and I'm going to be very sad, because that was a very, very fun game number 1. I think I'm gonna put the music back on. Should I? Actually, no. I'm gonna keep talking. You guys deserve more than just interestingly bad Monster Cat music. And as I say that, I go completely silent, and I don't really have anything to follow that up with, because I'm just generally trying to figure out what exactly is wrong. This is actually kind of upsetting, because, you know, for good reason. Okay, so that's good. Everyone's having the same problem. That means we're all on the same level. That's good. So, you know, I'm not having my ECS spot stolen away from me randomly. That's good to know, you know, because I'm actually trying this. This is the first time I'm actually trying for this one. So the challenge happens every year, twice a year, and I've participated in both times that it's happened so far. But both those times, I didn't think I was good enough to actually make it to London. I didn't think I was good enough to actually represent ECS as, you know, as a caster. Now I think I'm not quite there yet, but I'm close enough that I can maybe get through with a bit of a push. And I'm really looking forward to that, really hoping that this works out. I'm also a little bit unsure about how it works exactly, because I don't know how long they're going to be shipping people to London for. If it's for too long, I can't really do it anyway. It's like, I have university. I can skip a bit of university, but I can't skip like a month of university. That's a little bit ridiculous. Oh, maybe I can. I don't know. I feel like it's better to not think about, okay, you know what? HLTV scoreboard? Fine. We've got this going for us. Wait, let me see what I can do. Let me just see what I can do. Add scene. Add window capture. HLTV. Let's try and find this one. And for some reason this isn't working. Not really showing you guys anything. That's unfortunate. Well, maybe it's not window capture. Maybe it should be something else. Let's just make a monitor capture and add that one to the table. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. All right. So, face it. This is just to show flexibility. You guys are going to be very, very proud of me. What's up? Okay. This is still not working. Still not working. Now, Android, the bomb has been deployed. Android is left in a 1 versus 3. Shazam, Amanek, and Sick, well, they're going to be able to get away with that round. Android will be able to save up going into the next one. Now, Complexity, they've managed to find 4 for themselves on the table so far, but Misfits, it looks like they were able to actually go for a 3rd round buy. They ended up losing out on that one, but now, in the first proper full gun round, they have ended up coming out on top. Now, it is Train, it is heavily CT sided, so Complexity, they're not quite out of it yet, but moving into the next round, they need to be careful. Their economy is looking a little bit low, and Misfits, you can't really say that they're going to be given something away for free, because you look at this immediately, the round starts off with Ye getting super aggressive, Sick and Dave will get taken down by him. The 2-man advantage going the way of Complexities immediately so early on, that allows them to be so much more flexible. But right now, Def, it's been refragged. Amanek goes forward onto the side. Sean Garris is able to find another one, and it's suddenly brought back to a 3 versus 3. Slemmy, he's feeling confused about what exactly he needs to call. He stopped fragging. He's not really used to this situation. He needs to find the way back towards the site. He needs to make sure that the bomb isn't going to be planted. Amanek is ready to take someone down, and it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon. However, with a minute left on the clock, they do have the power to just back themselves off, try and spread themselves thin across the map, try and make sure that they're going to be able to find a quick kill. If the CTs overextend even the slightest, they will be able to punish them. They will be able to find that way onto the site with the numbers advantage in their favor, trade effectively, and get away with the round. However, Misfits, they also need to be very careful that they don't end up losing out a bit too much. Ideally, they would like to be able to get away with this with at least, if nothing else, at least 2 players left alive. Get some of that economy building up. Get some guns going into the next round. Don't let Complexity force buy up and have the potential of being able to walk away with this one. You do not want to run that risk whatsoever. And with only 20 seconds left on the clock, this is where Misfits needs to hit that site. They will be going forward aggressively. They don't really have too much utility left to work with this late in. And that's where you see immediately Peter coming in with the AWP, taking down Amanek, keeping the site off limits for any terrorists. Next will be Sean Garris, and last will be Shazam. Slemmy chiming in with one of his own, and Peter really coming up big in that round in the last 15 seconds, finding 2 kills. Beautifully done by him. And now Complexity, this is where they might be, well, they've actually fully reset Misfits, but Misfits actually does have enough money to be able to buy up in the next round. However, this is where Misfits might have called for a pause. This is where Misfits might be thinking to ourselves, you know what, let's sit down, let's understand what's going wrong, let's try and go for a different solution, go for a different situation. We might want to put some aggression down towards Ivy, we might want to put some aggression down towards that B side. Try and switch things up just a little bit. However, they could also choose to go for an execute on towards that A area where, you know, Peter, with that AWP, he's reigning supreme, but the AWP will be blocked off immediately. Will be blocked off immediately by the execute coming through. He will be forced to go aggressive. He will be forced to peek out through that electric box area. And that is where you can punish him. That is where you can actually shut him down. And with the pause now being finished, they're going to be moving forward. Complexity, whether or not they go for a double op setup is yet to be seen. Doesn't quite look like they will be doing so. Their economy is being spent, but not quite there in that double op range. So they will be content with just maintaining this, and for good reason, because you see Misfits, they don't really have enough money to be able to buy up properly. They know that they're going to be going for these Tech 9s, they're going to be going for these AKs, and Slemmy starts off strong, he finds two, Amanek is able to follow up, and Sick finds one of his own as well. However, Android is there to keep things under control, takes down Amanek, and it's a 3 versus 1 with Sean Garage to be the man to take charge. It's a 1, he finds one for himself, Android takes a fall, but Sean, he's going to be low at this point, doesn't have very much to work with. The utility not quite in his favor either. He dropped AK-47, was used to take down Android, and at this point, oh, this would be, okay, I can reconnect now? Okay, good stuff, guys, good stuff. We're gonna quickly do this, and switch over. It's not overpass, but I hope that's just a, graphical glitch. What happened to the stream, Nico? Well, it wasn't working, so I ended up casting from the scoreboard. It was fun. It was fun. Lots of fun. I mean, I would really like it if we can actually get into the game, though. Obviously, that would be quite nice. In the meanwhile, we go back to the... Oh, never mind. It's starting. What? Well, that's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted at all. Did it switch to GoTV? No. Yeah, I can't actually connect to this. Like, I mean, I can't connect to this, so it's just not giving me anything. Are any of the other streams connected? Like, properly? Because it's showing me overpass again, and I don't really want to see overpass. I want to see train. We need to figure that out, guys. We need to figure that out, you and me. Well... Okay, well, seriously, what's up with this? Is this where I go back to the scoreboard? GoTV reconnecting? No. Okay, we're going back to the scoreboard, guys. Back to what we know. Back to, what's good for us. What's good for us. The question though is, what exactly is good for Misfits? Because nothing seems to be working out for them. Once again, they're at a numbers disadvantage, 4 versus 2 on this side, and it just seems to be them being picked off one by one. Peter's finding so many great kills with that AWP. He started off this round with 1 onto 6, shutting down one of the key consequential players off Misfits, and now he follows up with another one onto Shazam. This is going to be so difficult for them to actually come back in, and now it will be Ye finishing off that round 7-1, and Misfits, their money. It's looking decent, but I'm pretty sure that's a scoreboard glitch and they can't actually be at 10,400 on a player when they're down 7-1. I'm pretty sure. But it's safe to assume, well, okay, now their money is not looking decent anymore. Their money is looking like they have it in them to be able to go for a buy. Whether or not they go for the AWPs, so that's a different question that will be answered pretty shortly. Shazam not really showing up so far, unfortunately, but now Sick finds his way onto the side. They're going for a fast push onto A, perhaps, making it a little bit easier for them. Find that early on pick-off, and they will be able to back themselves off and try and use the numbers advantage to their favor. Try and see whether or not Complexity will be pushing forward, and indeed they will be, but they're going to be pushing forward to find Amanek. Peter takes him out, and that's the AWP coming into effect so far. Peter has been delivering so well. Android and Slammy not doing too bad either. Their ADR is off the charts, 115 and 112 respectively, and 90 with the AWP is very respectable. Very respectable indeed. Slowing things down though, Misfits, they're saying it's still in their favor. 4 versus 4 works out well for them. They know that the terrorists have the ability to be able to quickly overwhelm a site, use the numbers advantage to their favor, but unfortunately there is no numbers advantage anymore because Sean Garrett just went down. Davo refrags him and takes away Slemy's life. Shazam chimes in with one of his own, but Android is there to carry the slack, and Android is there to be sent to the grave. Peter left alive in a 1 versus 2 situation, and will he be able to get this one down and out? The bomb is not planted just quite yet. There are only 30 seconds left on the clock, and Peter, he can definitely stop the bomb from being planted. The bomb goes down though, and Davo is able to finish it off. Peter, unfortunately, can't get the defuse out, and that will be the second round for Misfits going in. However, Misfits, they're not out of the water just quite yet. They need to be careful. They need to make sure that they are not going to be reset in this situation. They've already had that happen to them once. They've just now managed to get that second round on the board. If they're getting reset now, that's where suddenly 11-4 would be a good scoreline for them, and you never want to be in that situation. And right now, while Shazam starting strong, he finds that early on pick off onto Android, getting aggressive onto A main, finding that kill very quickly on. Looking good on him. He was looking spectacular on overpass. Fallen off just a little bit on train, but right now it is looking ridiculously good for him. He manages to create enough space for Sick to take down Slemmy as well. Slemmy, the big boy player right now on Complexity. He is the man top fracking with the most ADR as well. And now Complexity, they have their panties in a bunch. They don't quite know where exactly they need to be going. Peter, Ye, and Def, they're clustering around that mid side. They're probably going to be a man over towards Connector, a man maybe 2 over towards B, ready to rotate to A. And Misfits, well, the world is their oyster. They can hit any side they want, and they will probably be able to take it. At this point, Complexity, you need nothing short of a miracle and nothing short of blind luck to be able to take this map, to be able to take this round back into their own favor. Now, they do have the money to be able to buy up in the next one, but it doesn't look like that's going to be coming into effect, because right now, great trades coming out 2 for 2, and that favors Misfits so much, because Peter is left in a 1 versus 3 on that end. He's on that A side. He might be making the call to save that AWP moving into the next round. Actually, Peter doesn't even have an AWP. He has an MP9. Will have recovered an AK-47 from 6 body, and this is still where he can consider going for the save. This is still where he can consider trying to run away with that rifle, trying to make sure that he is going to be able to get something going for himself in that next round. But it's a difficult decision to make, and Misfits, well, they're going to be hunting, but who's hunting who? Because Peter's found Davo, as he was trying to go for the exit frags. We'll be able to find one for them, and this is good, because you need to remember, Misfits, their economy isn't really great either. If you're able to keep it in check, then you still have the potential of being able to reset them. You're still going to have to wait to find out, but right now, the score is 7-3, and Complexity might be thinking of calling for a pause of their own. If they're able to do so, then maybe they can rewind, reset, and make sure that they get the rounds back in their control, and they get Misfits out of this game early on. I'm gonna quickly check the Go TV again. In the meanwhile, though, once again you see Misfits slowly taking control all across the map. They know that what they want to do. They know that they've been doing things correctly, but at the same time, Complexity, they're looking to potentially get a bit aggressive going into this round. They're looking to potentially try and flash through towards that A main side, try and get a few kills here or there, and see what works out for them. But for now, it's not going to be anything of substance or anything substantial at all. 7-3, and Slemmy, well, he's hunting and he's feeling hungry for a couple of kills. Unfortunately, though, the only thing that's going to be feeding that hunger is a bullet to the head from Sean Garrett's AK. Peter trying to get in position for the refrag, trying to make sure that he can try and avenge his fallen teammate, but no one will be there to do so. It's still a 5 versus 4, and the bomb has gone down. The CTs in a retake situation aren't going to be able to do so, because Ye has just been punished as well. Davo getting aggressive onto him. Sean Garrett's in a great position to be able to shut down anyone who's lurking. He went forward aggressively after planting down the bomb. And well, he won't be finding anyone, but Davos definitely will. Def gets a kill with a P250. Complexity did save going into this round, and this is where really all they can do is maybe save that AK that Peter has in his hands into the next round. And Def, well, unfortunately, he can't really do too much at all. Peter goes down. Sean Garris is the man to finish him off. And 4-7, Misfits continues the climb back up. And the problem is, I'm okay with this, but it's also 4:30 a.m. and this is making me really, really sleepy. I might not be able to cast Denial versus Ronin if I have to cast on scoreboard, because scoreboard casting is very tiring. I'm basically just imagining the entire situation in my head. So I might not be able to cast the next game anymore, but let's see. Hopefully we can get something going for us. Whew. My head hurts. And speaking of heads hurting, Misfits, well, they're trying to look for people to make their heads hurt. They're making sure that they have every opportunity to find a quick cleanup kill, and Davo is really the man who's been stepping up, along with Sean, surprisingly enough, who has been putting up the numbers. Even in Overpass was looking quite good. And well, speaking of Sean looking quite good, he's going to be looking quite good dead on the floor as Peter finds 2. Davo also being taken down, and suddenly Shazam needs to try and come back with the AWP, get that off versus off battle, get that duel going his way. The only person to get a kill so far is Amanek, and he's found 2 with the AK. Peter and Ye going down. Def, though, is there with a trade. And Shazam is left in a 1 versus 3. Okay, we can see what happens to Shazam. He's probably gonna save. Probably gonna save the AWP. Okay, it's working, guys. It's finally working. I think. I would like to imagine so. Oh dear. What's this? Well, just making sure that the overlay and everything is fine. A bit of a graphical glitch that comes out sometimes. Alright, now aggressive over towards Ivy's side. Slemmy is there to back up Peter, but Peter doesn't need any backup. He gets flashed up, but he doesn't really seem to matter. Finds that kill regardless. 8-4 and Misfit. They're being shown the door. They're being reminded where it is, and they're being told to walk out of it with some dignity left intact, but not very much dignity. Not very much to speak of whatsoever. However, 3 versus 1 on that A side, where Sean Garris is actually considering to go through that pop dog area, make sure that they're able to shut someone down. But Def is the man to watch out for. Def and Android, the guardians of the B side, will be left struggling, because they are looking to get this. They are looking to get this execute started onto the B side. They will be trying to save an incendiary for the post-plant situation. There is a smoke on Android. He hasn't quite used this just yet. The incendiary on him could also be incredibly deadly at this point if he's just able to throw it down onto the ramp in time. Well then, that could completely shut out every single bit of timing that Misfits has, but the timing is there. But Sean Garris is entering. He finds that opening pickoff, and Ye is there to quickly trade. Android finds one of his own, but Ye has made it 2, and it's going to be Shazam left alone in a 1 versus 3, and again, faced with the decision to save or not. To save or not to save, that is the question, and it is not a very easy question to answer right now. Finds the bomb plant, but this puts him in a very precarious situation. Has decided to try and go for the clutch. Finds 1, just needs 2 more to go for, but will not be able to find the 3rd. He makes a heroic effort, but a hero he is not. Yay. Pumping some lead into his dead body as he diffuses, throws confetti over him as well. Shazam will not be feeling too happy about that one whatsoever. Oh god, I'm sleepy. 9-4 and complexity. They're regaining control of this half. They're taking it back into their favor. Misfits have gone for a quasi, and they're going to be trying to go for the 10-5 scoreline. They realize that beyond that, they just need a little bit of luck, and maybe these Tech 9s can come into their own. But Peter, well, he can't really come into his own. Not quite getting that kill. With the AWP jumping forward, and Def is ready with the MP9 to mow down some heads, get some money for the next round, and he's getting it alright. Peter finding a couple of kills for himself, finding some anti-eco frags, buffing up his confidence. Not that he really needed much of a buff up. He's looking spectacular. 17 kills in 14 rounds. He is an absolute monster right now. Complexity are going to be looking good going into the next season. That's for sure. That is for sure. And I mean, Misfit right now, their players are performing. It's not like they're not. It's just Their stars are not performing. Sick only has 5 frags. Sean Garris on the entry has managed to find 10 kills for himself, which is quite substantial given the fact that they only have 4 rounds. Entering onto a site, finding an early kill, that is impressive for a player who was infamously mechanically unskilled and just very, very good cerebrally. Now he's managed to redefine himself, evidently. Looking so much better. And the incendiary, well, it's flown out, and Sean, he's going to be not too happy about that. Amanek has taken control of Pop Dog, but he knows he can't quite peek out of it. There might be someone coming in from behind. Shazam going for the peek onto Peter will have a hard time playing up against that. The Ob duel is not likely to go Shazam's way. So far, Peter is looking like he is on fire. But who is burning who is the question, because Sean, he's going to go for the quick peek out onto Slemmy, but Slemmy immediately backs himself off, knows that there's not going to be anything whatsoever that they can do to force him into an awkward situation. Out in Ivy, and he goes for the peek, finds one, that's a bomb, it gets dropped, and Peter is there to drop the second. Devo goes down and Sick. Now they need to find their way back towards Ivy. It's a 2 versus 2 because Sick and Shazam have managed to equalize the scoreline very, very quickly. Both of them finding a kill respectively, but there's 20 seconds left on the clock, and that clock is not going to be going anywhere but down. Sick in a 1 versus 1. The clock showing 13 seconds, and Def, well, he just needs to stay alive for long enough, but Sick has got the shot! 10-5, and Complexity, they can't quite get the 11th. Sick keeps their hopes alive with a quick off shot, and I talked about him needing to step up. 4 kills in that round. That's what they needed for sure. Or rather, for Sean. Peter is ready for a quick smoke over towards that. If I'm not wrong, that actually goes to block out Connector. But I might be wrong. I'm not very good at train. The smokes kind of elude me. And apparently the bullets kind of elude Amanek because he has managed to dodge all of them coming out from Android. But Ye is there to push forward. Sean trying to find that quick AD spam and trying to find that quick headshot, but it will be Ye to shut him down instead. Devo is trying just as hard to find a few of his own, and he will be successful in doing so. It's a 3 versus 1, turned into a 2 versus none, with Sick finishing off 2. Peter and Def take a fall, and 10-6, Misfit, they get the pistol round. Whether or not they're able to get the subsequent 2, that is something that remains to be seen. The atypical force spike coming out from the terrorist side after losing the pistol round. And Sick is there to follow up. He finds 2 for himself. Shazam managing to tag them all down and only gets 1 kill. Unfortunately, Amanek is there as well to find 1. Peter, the only person to really put up anything on the scoreboard so far for the side of Complexity, and well, it's only 1 that is added to his tally. Ten to 7. Complexity. Once again, they're going to be going for a full eco. All P250s. Trying to fish for headshots. Let's see if there's going to be anything attached to this hook. Whether or not their fishing will be successful, or whether they will end up picking up a Gyarados for their troubles. Well, Gyarados they may not find, but Devoduck they will, and they are equally deadly because Devo, he is not taking a bullet at all. Finding a couple of kills for himself, keeping Android pressed inwards towards that Ivy side, and Android will be taken down as well. 2 quick eco kills for him, padding up his confidence and Really just making him feel good about himself. Amanek, though, that's something a little bit more substantial. That's an extra $600 in his pocket. That is a UMP kill coming out, and that is very important for them. Unfortunately, though, they're only going to be having one, or maybe even two right now, because Shazam, well, he has the opportunity to shut him down. So they find 2 UMP kills, one for each that they bought. Not too bad at all. $10-8 and complexity. Now they go to the full AK buy. A Galil on Slemmy will allow him to be able to buy a bit more utility, but he's the only man who has any. That's the problem with running that force buy in the second round. If you're not able to get a bump run down, if you're not able to get a couple of kills, you are not going to have the utility to actually do anything. Davo finds 2. An android, well, he's been able to get one of his own, but Shazam still has an AWP to play around with. He's not quite on the site yet. Actually, yes, he is. But he doesn't quite have the angle to be able to shut down anyone. Peter wants to push forward, but instead they're actually thinking of going towards that A side. There's a minute and 15 seconds left. They can make this work. If they do go back towards A from Pop Dog, if all they need to do is make sure that Sean goes down at heaven. But the sniper's nest is very, very safe for him. For now, at least. Lemmy drops down. Amanek will have heard that one out. The flashbang will not catch him out. Flashbang's raining forward, trying to stop the CTs from pushing through. Next to the coal train will be where Amanek is buried. Slemmy backs himself off. The off shot is missed by Shazam. And now Peter. He's hunting, but he's not really finding, unfortunately. Slemmy needs one more kill for himself. Sees the shadow, but can't quite connect with the bullets. Peter's in a 1 versus 2, and he knows that he can't really do too much of a hair unless he gets down Shazam. And indeed he does. Op takes a fall, and Peter backing himself up towards that sniper's nest area. Sean doesn't check it. 11-8 complexity. Bring it back and even get the op to move into the next round with. Beautiful play coming out from Peter over there, finding that kill under Shazam, just holding the angle perfectly, knowing that Shazam would be slow peeking into his crosshair, playing him like a fiddle. Like an absolute fiddle. The flashbang has flown and it's caught out 3. Sean is looking to get aggressive and catch out a little bit more than just 3 though. Peter, he's throwing over bullets, but no one's catching them. He just wants to play. He just wants to play. Unfortunately, Misfits doesn't want to do the same because Davo, well, he's pushing through with the M4, but if he gets on top of the dumpster, he knows that Peter should be able to immediately shut him down. Instead, decides to stay inside Ivy. And onto the green train he goes. Six UMP will be put at the test over here. He manages to find a quick shot, but it's not going to be a head. And with that being said, Complexity retract themselves from the side, and they will be heading into Davo's crosshair. But unfortunately, Davo can't get more than one. Ye follows up. He gets the trade out, and Slemmy finding one more for himself. But Sean is there to bring it back to a 3 versus 3. The bomb will be planted successfully, and Def pushing forward onto Sean's head. He wants to be the angel to welcome him to his death, and yay, well, he will... Well, he's a fallen angel for now, because he is being flung off of a train. Sean found 2 kills so far in this round. If you can find 2 more, then it's not just a heroic effort, it's an impossible one, practically. $11-8 and Sean. He saves his M4 into the next round, but it's going to be of limited use, to say the least. Complexity have got enough money to be able to afford another buy, but now they need to cement their economy. Now they need to make sure that in the next round... Slemmy? Slemmy a little bit late with the buy, but in the next round they need to make sure that they have a little bit more to work with. Not to say that they're out of it in this one, though. Amanek does have that deagle. We've seen some magical things happen with that gun. And of course, Sean's M4 has already proven itself. If I'm not wrong, he should be top fragging. I mean, it's anti-eco frags. Let's be honest. We can look at the scoreboard. It's okay. But right now, what isn't okay is Shazam finding a kill into Ye, shutting him down on the catwalk. And Amanek, well, not quite able to replicate that feed down next to the coal train. Not quite able to do so. Peter will close that one out. And Sean and Devo, they say, you know what? Let's just save. We've got armor. We've got some guns. Just take this forward. Process this, you know. Feel a little bit more. Feel a little bit more secure about their economy in the next round. They will be able to maybe buy up a bit more utility because of these saved guns, because of the saved armor. It's definitely something worth looking into. Shazam, though, will not have an AWP dropped over towards him. Unfortunately, that is simply not possible. None of them has the money to be able to buy it up. And that will be leading to a massive reduction in their firepower. Devo, though, he's trying to compensate for that by finding the early man advantage, pushing forward into team main. Sean with his trusty M4, he's managed to keep it for 2 rounds, and let's see if he can make it a third, and let's see if he can make it another round win for him this time. Slightly more important than just keeping the M4 alive naturally, but Amanek, well, he's found one early on. Devo manages to make it 2. Def is there to refrag, though. Yay finds one of his own as well. There's still a man behind him. That's Devo, and he's going to be caught out with a grenade in his hand, and he's got out with... Well, he's got out with something in his hand, that's for sure. Not a grenade, but yeah, you get what I mean. You get what I'm saying, well, boys here. Sean want to make sure that they aren't going towards that B site. That's why he sent Sick over towards Locker. He sent Sick over towards that wraparound. And Peter might not be expecting this. He might be caught off guard by this. But Sean is actually over towards Pop Dog. But Peter low. Look at this. The game sense coming out from Peter. Not quite able to get the kill though. The second one, not going to be having any problems whatsoever. Incendiary to block off the entry of Sick, and Sick, while he's burning alive, and that's not a good way to die. I promise you, Sick, that is not a good way to die. Bomb will go down, and with it, Misfits are one step closer to losing out of this map. They're one step closer to having Complexity take it to a 1-all scoreline. In Complexity, they were looking good on Overpass as well on their terrorist side, but on Train, they are dominating Misfits. Misfits have not managed to get a single round ever since the first pistol allowed them to get the first 3 rounds on the table. And you look at Complexity, they don't really have very much money, but it is enough to be able to buy up one more time. So Misfits, they technically need to find 2 rounds in a row to get anything of an economic advantage, and even that's going to be difficult because Sean only with a Mag 7 to work with, and speaking of not having much to work with, Android takes out his own teammate and a Devoduck in the process. Ye is there to back him up though, and he's hoping that he won't get a bullet to the head because of it. He finds one bullet to someone else's head though. It's Shazam to take a fall and Def to take the plant. Four versus 3, and the Mag 7 in long range in the hands of Sean is probably not the best of guns for this retake. However, he's going to try and circle around, find a quick AWP, and try and grind out the last 7 rounds that they will need to equalize the scoreline to fight for overtime, because at this point that is really all they can go for. There is very little chance, if any at all, for them to come back into this round, and you can see that Complexity agree with me as they are backing themselves off. Peter wants to secure that AWP into the next round, and 4 guns maintained. This is where the economy is looking scary. Not to say that the economy really matters at this point. Misfits cannot afford to make a mistake. They can't afford to let a single round go the way of Complexity. And Peter, he has been the man of the hour. 25 kills in 23 rounds, and they're really just looking to go up and up even further. Smoke blocks him off, and Shazam yet again doesn't quite have the power of the AWP to take on towards that A or B side, depending on wherever he wanted to play. Wherever Sean wants him to be. Flashbang goes forward, and it will be Def to... Well, it will be Def to see Slemmy off in towards that A site, where Sean Garris is waiting behind Electric Box to try and shut down this aggression onto Pop Dog. He knows that they're there, but he can't quite go for the peak. He knows that the AK will reign supreme on these close range situations. But speaking of reigning supreme, Sean Garris says, you know what, whatever, who cares, AK or not, I'm better than you, I'm the better in-game leader. Guess who left Cloud9? Slemmy, you were kicked from it, you were kicked from it. That's why he's better, that's why he's got the numbers, that's why he's got the looks, he's got everything going for him. And well, Peter finding one of his own, but the bomb has not been planted just quite yet. It will be fairly soon though, off the back of Def's 2 kills that allow them a little bit more to work with. Shazam can push forward to find Ye, but will not be able to do more than take down Def. He's going to be traded out pretty soon, and that will be it. Complexity take the second game, and that is going to be a 1-1 scoreline. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you've enjoyed the cast, if you have not, well, it doesn't really matter, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you support that way. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should do the next game between Denial and Ronin. I'm actually very, very tired, so I'm leaning away from it. But while I decide, there's going to be Monster Cat music going on in the background, and be sure to click that subscribe button. Alright guys, I've decided I will actually be calling it a day, because I do have to help a friend move houses and a few other things today, so going to sleep at 5 AM isn't quite very early, but it is something. Remember guys, if you've enjoyed the stream, be sure to click the subscribe button. Be sure to check out my other YouTube videos, especially the recent Optic one. I'm feeling a little bit sick, so I haven't been able to put out a part 2 so far, but remember guys, I'm going to be streaming every single game of the ECS Developmental League. At least I'm going to be trying to do so. And face it, if you're still watching, I'll see you in London. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Tea Time, signing off.